The lower time frame real quick. This is the short that I talked about like 2 to 3 days ago, and sorry, this is the short that we like took on Wednesday, and today's like Friday, so 2 days ago. The reason why I took this short and I posted this one is because like we were expecting a breakout from this level, and we were expecting it to go much higher. But what happened right here was that we could not form any sort of continuation to that breakout. And if you go to the higher time frame chart as well, if you take a look at this higher time frame chart, this is the 4 hour chart, and if you draw like a volume profile over this chart from where the range started all the way to where the range had ended, and if you do mark out a range value right here, we have rejected from the range value area low, and from the range value area low, that's the rejection where we have like we could not just reclaim back into the um, prior range value area low, and because of that we started to break that bullish momentum that we had, and we started to do these like bearish break structures with a lot of high holds around the structure. And from there we were able to see that there's a lack of like participants in terms of like bids and buyers, so that's why I like went short. It was a pretty clean structure as well, lower time frame wise, and the reason why I held it short, honestly I had my stops break even on the short, and the reason why I like had it run all the way down to like value or low is because I didn't get stopped out, because I had my like thoughts, because like we were still around this level, and we did get a bounce off of here. So if you had like come around, there's something that I talked about in a call that I did privately yesterday as well. We were expecting even a bounce all the way from here, and once we had rejected from there is when we were looking to like actually short this again, and that's the structure we were like waiting for, but we didn't get that, so the initial short worked pretty well. And the reclaim was actually after the initial bounce was done, and that initial bounce, the way it rejected off of the high, it just gave us more confirmation that okay, there's sort of breaking higher in this structure, and we are likely to break down again and again, as we just simply cannot reclaim back into the value area low of the higher time frame. This right here is going to be the easiest setup that we could like get in a while. That would be just pretty much like, as you can see now, it's like equal highs now. It could either be induced as well. Now we are open to that possibility as well. It could probably like bounce off of here. It could go up here, it could like induce there, and then it could like go all the way down to this extreme FVG as well. That could most likely happen as well. That is exactly why we are gonna wait for some sort of vid and momentum to like form here. And once we have like seen that momentum form here, we are just gonna look for a pretty nice long, and we're gonna literally just ape onto longs with our stops at the higher low wherever it gets formed, and we're gonna trade that long UI and long all the way up to the value area high of this structure. Until then, we are open to like two scenarios at the moment around the value area high. That is an inducement of these both highs, that's like equal highs, or a slow grind that will just get like a 10k trade, like from 66k all the way up to like even 76k. So that's like a $10,000 move worth of trade on just BTC alone, right? So that's a pretty nice trade. Besides that, like if we do get an inducement, if you go back to right here, it should be like a very sharp inducement. So if there's like, and for people that don't know what an inducement is, it's basically like a sweep. You basically like sweep some high within an external high. So we have our overall significant high, and if we sweep just within that internally, that's called an inducement. And it has to be like a very nice wick, and then from the wick we just form like this sort of breakdown from the structure. It's probably exactly this structure that will form, this breakdown structure that we have right here. A lot of like lower highs, and they're very minimal. What that represents, it just represents like a lot of like weakness in terms of like buys, and what that represents is a lot of like strength with sellers, because they're not letting any sort of buyers, even though it's like above this current value that we have drawn, this current range that starts from like all the way from the start of July, and now we are like around 20th July almost, and we're still pretty much in the range. And so that's like almost like 20 days, 15 to 20 days worth of range that's still like chopping around here. So we could, even though after breaking out of that range, we could not really get that momentum, as sellers were still dominant there. Is exactly why I like took that short. Now, if not, to take a look at the current chart right here, we've got a pretty nice bounce off of the value area low, and honestly, this is probably one of the nicest longs that you could honestly see right here. It's something that I like did talk about when the price was around here. I was like, okay, we are gonna bounce it all the way back up to this POI. What we were gonna do, we were gonna like sort of bounce it a little higher. Fill this FEG. This is a very recent FEG. I think this was formed in the New York session, and we did like manage to fill it. And from that filling, we have to just rotate all the way back up to the value area high. And the reason why we're gonna like take off into this value area high is because like there's this high, like minimal high with a POI just above it, which is also going to act as an inducement, right? So what it's going to do, it's going to like give us a break structure, and then we'll get another rotation all the way back down here. I was honestly expecting a rotation from this high value node, but honestly, to expect prices to go even lower around here would be for us to believe it to go even much lower, because this is going to take a lot of like sell momentum for it to break down value area low and then come here. Then it would be 50-50 if it like bounces back or not, because then we would be relying more on the selling momentum that would kick in, right? Now this is the structure that I'm looking for, and to like do like trade placement, if I'm to like see if there's a trade that I do want to like observe and take here, would honestly be like a similar structure. Like I think we have missed the trade that we were looking to take. We have already like missed the entry. If it does come back here, it would be like very it would be very it would be a hard trade to take, honestly. Like I would not advise you guys to like take another trade off of the value area low just now, only until it like has come back all the way from the value area high. That's the rotational trade that we would like to take. So if you guys are in a trade from this value area low with your stops right around here, just look for TPs around here and look for any signs of weakness around somewhere here, and that's where you're gonna like close this trade. Just like Oliver sent his trade in the chat, that's a pretty nice trade. Just look for TP somewhere around here, and once we have our TP somewhere around here is when we're gonna expect for some sort of like reaction off of this structure. And if we do get like an inducement and then we get a break structure and then we have like another high hold and then it starts to form like bearish highs where it looks like okay, it's not breaking higher, it's getting heavily rejected off of the value area high, is then when we are gonna look for another short setup, and we're gonna just look for that rotation all the way down to where the value area low is, probably to this low, and we're gonna look for a trade around here. So this is the rotational trade that we're gonna take for the next 2-3 days. I'm just gonna do another live session on Monday, but honestly, knowing that what price does on weekends, now I'll tell you what price really does on weekends. It does nothing, honestly. If you take a look at the prior price as well, and if you like mark them out, like take a look at this time, it's like Saturday, from Saturday all the way till like Sunday, even where Sunday closes. This right here is basically this is what price does. So what really price does on a weekend for BTC, a crypto pair as major as it is, what it does, like it revolves around Saturday open, and then it like starts to spike a little, and then it always closes where Saturday open had like open. So that's weekend open and weekend close. That's basically all that's gonna happen. So if Saturday opens up around here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna chop till like Monday opens, and then we're gonna like get this action and rotation from the value high and from the value yellow, and that's where we are actually gonna get a rotation from. Till then, you can actually expect it to like move in the next 2-3 hours, and if it doesn't, and if the market closes and it goes into Saturday and it starts shopping, this is most likely the scenario that's gonna happen. And this is the only short setup that I'm looking for at the moment, besides the one that I have. And I'm just gonna sort of like extend TPs on that. And if you have like a long setup from here, that's pretty nice. Just put your stops on break even. It's probably gonna get a rotation all the way to this PI that we have. Honestly, if I did like a session like 2-3 hours ago, I would have told you guys to like long here, because this is a very nice PI that we have here. We have just been like compressing, and in compression, as long as like price like stays within highs and lows, what you gotta do is like you gotta long the lows, higher low, and expect like a lower high. So this is what you gotta do in a compression. This is basically all that happens. It might spike a little high or low, but it's always gonna stay there. That's basically range 101. Taking a look at the chat real quick. Ramen said, "Hi Shini, do you mind advising me on the setup that I took? I was in the same short as you, but as soon as I see a break structure, I aimed along there." Okay, that's a good observation. So if you like, okay, what basically Ramen did here was that he saw that this is a break structure, and that we are not accepting back into the range, probably like bounce off of this POC as well, some confluences, and then he was in a short from here, and then he closes short, believing like this is a break structure, and then it's gonna go much higher. Honestly, this is a lower time frame break structure, I would not say, but you have to like always understand this is something that I feel like everybody gets wrong. That is, if there is an FVG or an imbalance that exists just above your break structure, right, and you are currently in a downtrend, that break structure is invalid. Almost all of the times, literally all of the times, that break structure is invalid. This is actually a chart that I have shared in Shinicord private in alpha, like for almost like 2 years now, and it's worked every time. Like, take a look at it. This you consider break structure, but if you change time frames, this is basically an FVG that we have, right? And the overall trend is still downtrend. We have not broken any high. What we have done an internal break structure into an FVG in an overall downtrend. So that really just invalidates your long break structure, and this is something that like a lot of people don't still understand and have taken a lot of losses on. It's a very unique pattern, especially on BTC, Ethereum, and gold as well. It happens a lot. And yeah, that's something like Oliver referred that chart. Oliver, you can send that chart into the chat as well, so people can take a look at it. There's something that I posted like a long time ago, that any sort of break structures into an FVG without an overall external high being taken is just fugazi. You don't have to take it. You just wait for that to develop, and then you look to take it, right? That's all you gotta do. Now, these are literally the only type of like setups that you wanna take for now. And let me take a look at what Oliver posted. So he's posted along. This is pretty nice as well. Share thoughts on XAU. I can go take a look at XAU real quick. We were expecting a retrace from this level. The last time I posted was like it should bounce off of here, come back, come into here, induce this high, and then retrace all the way down, which it did. It was supposed to like bounce off of here, which it did as well, but it uh, eventually like held into the FVG. Like, you can consider this to be a break structure as well, but that's internally. It didn't like break external structure. So pretty much the same pattern that I was just discussing about. You can see it play out live pretty much on all pairs. And that pattern just like is like this. So you are going in a downtrend, and then there's an FVG that gets formed. And just below that FVG, you see a high that is considered to be like a break structure. And it's a valid break structure, right? And it does like do a valid break structure, but it never really breaks the external high. So what it does, it like gets rejected right before it breaks that. Now that usually, in 90% of the cases, it leads to a further move down and a very volatile move down. It's why this is where a lot of people and a lot of my friends used to get trapped in. And I was like, okay guys, we'll just have to lay out a system to be able to trade this. And then I like posted, okay, just don't take any sort of trades that look like the structure. And this is the exact structure pretty much every single pair. Now there's a lot going on in my XA chart. I'm just gonna delete a lot of it right here and go to the hard time frame, just see what's going on the hard time frame. Honestly, like, I was pretty good on the call that like 5200 was pretty much the top, because if you remember, there were so many people that were like buying a lot of like gold off of like gold stores, like just sitting outside of there, and then like that ended up to be a pretty nice like top, very nice top signal. Taking a look at the current structure, we are in a pretty nice POI. I don't mind trading this at all. What could most likely happen is that we could get a very strong bounce off here into this FEG, and then from there we could most likely get a rejection off of here, and then from there we could possibly get another higher low bounce. That's what we could have. This is the structure that I'm looking for on higher time frame for especially XAU. Now, if you go to the lower time frame, you might find something of a trigger for ourselves. But it's like Friday close. I don't recommend like positioning into it just now. But if you do see like a trend, a sort of continuation, even right here, I would not recommend like going into a long just right around here, because this is still in a FEG into a high. So the best decision is either to wait for a retrace back to here, get your higher low structure formed right around here, or you can wait for a continuation, like a slow grind to happen, and then you can take the trade on that. So those are the two long triggers that I would actually be interested into trading on XAU. Now, if you go back to BDC, and if you go back to the higher time frame, this is the only long setup, and the other long setup, honestly, would be something that I don't recommend at the moment. We can look for longs like around here with our stops below here, but this is a very this is actually gonna be a very bad long because the reason why is like I would wait for a trigger for this because we are literally like breaking down the value low, so we would not expect for it to form a higher low. It may give like a lower bounce and it may hold, and we could try scalping it, but honestly, taking a look at the structure, it's to form a lower high afterwards, right? So that would be natural, the natural cause of it, and that's why I'm like, guys, if you have a lot of money or if you have even any sort of money you can like put aside just to buy anything from here all the way till here, just start putting your portfolios in, and then just start like aping into coins, and then you this is a very long term advice for an investment. And if you can like DCA all the way for like a year or two, I do recommend like you put in a lot of your funds into BDC and some into Ethereum. Ethereum buys can just be like 1,200, and then you can DCA all the way down to like 600, and then you can TP that around 5k or even like 9k. Eventually these are gonna like work out pretty well, so that's pretty cool. Now if you go to, let me check the chat real quick. Attack said, should a beginner start with yearly subscription with course? I do recommend to start with a subscription, as you get to see us trade every day. We trade every day, post every day in the Discord all the time. And yeah. Cave said, why you don't wait for extreme FVG at high? The extreme FVG at high, honestly, that's if you're talking about this one right here, let me like delete whatever is going on here. So there's like two FEG that we have, right? One's like an inducement here, and one's like an FEG at the extreme right here. The reason why I don't want it to go all the way to here, because we have to take into consideration our value terms as well. If price literally escapes this value, it's gonna go much higher, and the reason for that is that we have escaped like 60 to 70% of the volume that was keeping it as a range. We have tried that once where we have deviated that, and it's still forming range, so we cannot call this deviation till yet. And the reason why I wouldn't want it to go all the way to the extreme is because this is like in confluence with the value area high as well. So there's a lot of like volume like holding this level. As you can see, there was a lot of trading going on around this level, so that's why we are likely to get a breakdown here than here. But otherwise, in most of the cases, I do recommend people to like look and wait for the extreme. Yeah. And hype, somebody was asking me about hype, and let's just take a look at hype chart real quick. Honestly, hype was supposed to like get a retracement. As you can see, this again here is compression. All you have to recognize is that okay, there's a trend that's going pretty well, and then eventually like makes a low, and then it does not get to break higher than that low. And from that, actually I did like post like a higher time frame chart on hype, like in some stream or maybe in the chat, and that was just like for prices like go all the way to 74, reject off of here, and then like start to form a range compression. And that's basically all we are doing at the moment. We're probably gonna sweep this, and then we're gonna bounce off of here all the way back up to like 69 to 70, and then we're gonna like start to range. The worst case would be if like after that bounce we like start to like break down, we're gonna go all the way back to like 35s. That's what we are gonna do if we are looking at hype alone. That's the hard time frame update for hype as well. Lower time frame wise, you can place your triggers based off of this bias that we have right here. If you guys have any questions so far, just type it in the chat. I'm gonna do a poll real quick, and then you can like let me know what sort of positions everybody's in. If you're in a long, if you're in a short, I'm not gonna do a sideline one. You can just like post your bias, whatever trade you're looking to take. I just go to the chat of this live stream section, and then you can go and vote in your bias or your position. Apparently a lot of people are long at the moment, which is pretty good. Like if you're in a long from here, that's pretty nice, pretty awesome. And if you're running it even from here, that's pretty cool. We are expecting a rotation already. Just hope that we get this rotation before like Saturday opens. So we don't want this like sort of chop happening into our trades. And then it would like you don't want to like a trade that like plays out after there's a lot of like chopping and a lot of stalling into it. You always want to take a trade at the extreme so the rotation goes very smoothly. Never accept a trade that like does a lot of like chopping or stalling like around your entry. That's very bad for your trade. So 90% of the people are long. That's pretty cool. It's going pretty well. Oh, that's a 10-minute chart. I'm gonna go to the lower time frame real quick. See if there's something that we could talk about. Take. No, I would recommend just running your entries. I don't recommend positioning in the middle here at all. Just wait for either of these levels. Wait for the value high, the extreme high, or wait for it to come back to the low and then start to or try to like position. Till then, if you're not positioned, if you're sideline, just wait it out. I'm actually also sideline at the moment. The only trade that I have is a short that I've shared from here, and I'm pretty much like partial. Like I've gotten out like 90% of it around the value area low. So I'm just looking to position one more trade, and at the moment, I would not like to position into the weekend honestly, because that's where a lot of chop happens. But there is like one exception, an exemption to the weekend rule that it does not chop. That is like, let's just say the weekend starts. Let's just say this is our time frame and the weekend starts, and in the first 6 hours, if it like starts to trend and it breaks out some specific level, then it's gonna trend for the rest of the weekend. That is like the only exceptional scenario that the weekend usually ends up as a trendy move. It has to like break out of some range. It could be a breakdown or it could be break up, and it has to like move in the first 6 hours. That's where the low liquid environment is, and that is exactly where you can influx a lot of like positions in there. And when there's a lot of positions influx there, there's a lot of liquidity that gets trapped. Maybe there's a lot of people that are positioned short just before the weekend. A lot of people position into options just before weekend, and the people that just like ape in, they like pretty much fade everybody, and now they're all like stuck, and they have their liquidations here and here and here, and that like eventually ends up as a cascading pump. So that's basically the trigger for a weekend pump, and that's pump or dump. It could be a breakout or a breakdown. But that's the condition that you have to look for. If nothing happens, honestly, if nothing happens, the other scenario is just like it does nothing, honestly. It opens at Saturday open, it like chops, and then like Sunday New York session around that time, even though sessions don't open, but around that time it gets like a little volatile. Around that time it gets a little volatile, but it usually ends up closing exactly where it like opened. That's basically all you have to understand about like weekend trading at all. Yeah, and that's it for the update actually. Like there's nothing more to discuss at the moment. Just don't try to position yourself or lose money in the middle. That's the worst position to be in. Can I check CL? Which pair are you specifically looking for? Are we just talking about like crude? CL, this one right here. I think I was talking about CL with somebody. That it's gonna bounce or something. I don't remember actually, but I was talking about this with somebody. Hard time frame. Okay, let's just take a look at the hard time frame real quick. Hard time frame wise, it looks pretty decent. I do not mind this at all. This is a very nice roundish bottom structure. CL trades pretty much like gold, which is pretty cool. Gold is very easy to trade. So is like BDC. And this is a very nice trade. Honestly, I would expect it to go at least this POI, and the way it's like trending higher, it should just like go up to like 85Ks. And this one right here might be a little stretch. I would wait for whatever the reaction is off of this PI here. That's the hard time frame outlook for me for crude oil. WTI, yeah. Let me see. We're talking about the WTI summary here. Don't remember actually. Was that WTI? I don't remember. I was talking about something and we were looking for a long setup, which I asked for somebody to like update me on. Might not be WTI, but it looks pretty good as well. I don't mind it. It's just rotating to the nearest short PI that it has, and as it has already like bounced off of the long POIs that it had. So that's pretty cool. Any questions so far, guys? If you guys have any questions so far, or if you want to like talk to me about anything, you can like always DM me or tag me in the free chat or the crypto chat, and I'll definitely go through it. They said you said gold doesn't look bad. What do you think about buying physical gold and silver? I like physical gold. Depends on where you are actually. Sometimes like if you're in Middle East or if you're in the US, it's never a bad position to be in to buy physical gold and silver based off of the trends. Because that's the only region that I have explored. Physical gold has like different rates and a lot of volatility in a lot of other regions. So if you have to like research a little bit to where you live as well, because there's a lot of like gold traders. Somebody's gonna sell you at a premium. Nobody's gonna sell you at a discount. Honestly, everybody's gonna sell you at a premium, and that premium could like cut you very very hard. So you gotta like take into look and into consideration. Okay, if gold is at a bullish POI, do I really want to buy this like physical gold? And if I do, I don't want to buy it into a heavy premium. Like you don't want to buy it more expensive than its actual value. I am actually recording the stream and I will be posting this as well. Yeah, so that's the alpha on buying a physical gold or silver. Silver is good. I like silver. We have like Karozu, that also called as Finn in our Discord, had been chilling silver the last 3 years, and then when it like went up, his investment went up like crazy. He like stacked on a lot of silver, kilos of silver. Yeah, and if he like stacked like 10K, he's probably up like 60, 70, or maybe 100K. That's how much like silver he stacked. You got eyes on any data center energy stock meta? I feel like in mixing these could be good with AI. I actually at the moment I don't have a stock like meta at the moment, but data center energy or AI, I feel like that's actually a very good play. That's something that we should look into. It never hurts to like invest into AI. And if we're talking about like centers that like pretty much hold AI and a lot of like information for us, that's like pretty good trade. I like investment wise or like higher time frame, you gotta like look for investing into BTC around these levels at the moment, and you also gotta look into like investing into like data and AI. Honestly, these are the only three sectors that I would go for at the moment. Unless you have like better trades on like gold or oil. Kevin said, "Hello, I have a question. I have heard this many times that when we get a breakout from LE, we shouldn't try to come before this, but we had big range composite at the lows and then the 10-day composite. The problem is I was bullish at the same time. We got high swept, and let me take a look at the chart real quick. We got high swept and close below. The problem is how to decide when to choose normal range swing and swing low and when comp. Not sure if I get your question completely. You can DM me about it as well. Not sure which level you're referring to, Kevin. So you can DM me about this question and I will answer you and I will share that information with everybody in the free chat as well. I feel like I'll be able to help better if I get like to the depth of this question. Yeah. If you have any energy stock meta Dongbei, you can like let me know as well. Honestly, I would be ready to invest. It would just be about like positioning. Then after that, oh seven, not sure what that is. I will look up into that. All right, noted. Any more questions, guys, at the moment? That's pretty much it for the update. And any sort of like help you need, just tag me in the chat, and you can tag me anytime. I really appreciate everybody that's joined. And we'll keep doing the sessions, and the next free session will be on Monday, around New York session, like 2 3 hours before this time. And I'll see you guys there. Well then, for till then.